Every child we see today is a reflection of the adults around them. Every child is also shaped by the adults around them. My name is Olorundamilola Onomusi, and today we have a topic before us that we want to discuss, and it has to do with what we've been talking about, the adults around the child. So to start with, I want to say in today's video, we will be exploring parents, teachers, and caregivers. These three are the adults around this child. And to do this, I'm going to come through a storytelling again today. I will tell the story, but we're going to be exploring, it together. We will be looking at the child's behavior, we'll be looking at the child's emotion, and we'll be looking at the child's development. How does this play out? So it's going to be a very interesting session. Just sit down, but be ready to be a participant. Don't just be an onlooker. Come along with me as we move on. So today's story, and this story I'm going to be telling us, is about a little boy called Daniel. Daniel is just 3 years old. One morning, Daniel wakes up full of energy, ready to explore his world, his environment. At breakfast, he accidentally spills his cup of water, and immediately his mother shouts, "Daniel, look at what you've done. Why are you always so careless?" Daniel freezes. He doesn't fully understand the words, but he feels something. He feels tension. He feels something is wrong with him. Later that day, Daniel goes to school. While playing, he knocks over some blocks. This time, his teacher walks over, kneels down, and says gently, "Oh, it fell. Let's build it again together." Daniel looks at her, surprised. Same action, different response. In the afternoon, Daniel is with another adult. He tries to express himself, but before he can finish, the adult says, "Stop talking, keep quiet." And slowly, Daniel withdraws. Not because he has nothing to say, but because he is learning. His voice is not always welcome. By evening, Daniel is back home. He pushes his toy in frustration and hit another child. And the adult says, "Why are you behaving like this? Stop that." But no one stops to ask, what has Daniel experienced today? No one notices that he was shouted at, then comforted, then silenced, then corrected. And the truth is, Daniel is not confused because he is stubborn. On the contrary, Daniel is trying to understand, to process what just happened. May not be accurate in the way he is doing that. Probably these are the kinds of questions going on in his mind. One of them is it safe to make mistakes? Is my voice important? How should I respond when things go wrong? And the truth is, Daniel is not just learning behavior. Daniel is learning himself. Okay, I think you have listened well to the story. Let's discuss, all these happenings, all to Daniel alone. Again, I've come today. I'm the mother to Daniel, and you will find out why. But let's see how it goes. So let's look at how all of this shaped Daniel's behavior. We're looking at his behavior. So remember, Daniel was shouted at for making mistake. He was comforted for the same mistake. He was silenced when he was trying to talk. And he was corrected when he reacted. All of these four, just Daniel. And the different people, they only knew about what they did. None of them knew about what the others did. But Daniel was the only person, is the only person that knows what all of these adults did to him. So the processing is what I want us to look at in relation to his behavior. What did Daniel learn? Let's check that out. On his own. Yes, I can hear somebody saying, well, he's just 3 years old. What can he learn? There is a lot that Daniel can learn. So let's look at that together. He learned that sometimes mistake brings anger. Okay? And some other times they bring help. I think you can see amongst those adults who came with anger and the one that came to help. I hope you're following. Other times, confusion, not knowing what to respond. Okay? The child is confused. Which one do I follow? You see, when the teacher came, he was surprised at the way she responded or he responded, because he would have expected, this one is coming to, smack me. But that wasn't what happened. The teacher knelt down and whispered to him, let's do this together. Let's fix it together. Now, what did these reactions produce in Daniel? It produced confusion in behavior. It produces also inconsistency in reaction. It also can make him act out. All of them, everybody just did their own, to him alone, and he's wondering, so which one do I follow? Remember, we said he is learning. He's not just listening to what people are saying, but he's learning. So of all of this, which one does he follow? He's asking himself. And why does this happen? It's because behavior has become Daniel's language. Daniel behaves. Whatever he does comes as a behavior. But that is the only way he can speak. He can communicate. Remember, we talked about that. Please check our previous videos to follow, to really get this. That was his own, or is his own way of communicating. Now, therefore, when a child cannot make sense of the experiences he has, around him, what do you call it? Would show it through, behavior. That's it. And that's what Daniel did. Okay, so let's look at how does this shape Daniel's emotion. I'll take that again. How does this shape Daniel's emotion? Remember, Daniel is just 3 years old. But his emotions is reflecting the environment where he is, if you understand what I mean. His environment seems to be very active. And so, he also is active emotionally. He's the only one that played. He's the only one that did all the things that those 4 adults reacted to. It wasn't any other person. It was just Daniel. Now, what did Daniel feel inside of him? Fear when he was shouted at. Does that sound normal? Yes. Does it sound realistic? Yes. Don't you shout at your own child or children? You do occasionally, depending on what is happening, right? And Daniel felt safe with the teacher. Remember what she did, or he did, in this case? The teacher just approached when he knocked off the blocks, approached and knelt down. You see, eye level contact, eye contact. That child is small. He or she is obviously, taller than he is. But to give that eye contact, to make that connection, she knelt down, or he knelt down, and then spoke quietly into his ears. He fell, don't worry, let's fix it together. Okay? A lot of things there. Teamwork, friendliness, care, love. Talk about, making that child feel comfortable and say, don't worry, I got your back, and we'll do this, we'll fix it together. That's the experience of Daniel. That, I believe, is the best experience he had amongst all these adults. And then you have rejection. The one that silenced him. Shut up. Stop talking. It's like, keep it shut. Who wants to hear? That's the thinking. And then we have the one that understood him. That made him feel frustrated. So those are some of the things he felt. Daniel feels uncertain about what he should do. Okay, when a child does not even know what to do, because he had so many options, but he doesn't even know which one to pick amongst, those options, because of the things going on in his mind. He does not feel consistently safe. So it's like, okay, the teacher actually likes me, okay, but this one shouted me down. This one does not even want to hear me say anything. And I'm not fully safe. But I'm safe when I see the teacher. When the teacher is around me, I feel safe. But these other three, I'm not sure I'm safe. And then he becomes emotionally overwhelmed. All of these things, only Daniel. It's too much. So that's the feeling for Daniel. So what this leads him to so it's a step at a time, and it's one thing happening after the other. What did all of this lead him to? Withdrawal. At times he will withdraw. If he knows he wants to express himself. I'm teaching in a class, everybody is raising their hands up to be called to express their thoughts about whatever it is I'm teaching, and then somebody just says shut up, and this same person does not say that to any other child, but this particular child, anytime he wants or she wants to make an attempt, you just hear, shut up, sit down, I'm not calling you, I'm not talking to you, it's not, raise your hand, did I call you, and all the rest of it. That child will withdraw. Not for want of what to say, no, but in his mind or her mind, this process is that I'm not wanted, so let me just stay off. That could be it. Outburst at other times. And it's like, damn the consequence. And then the child just begins to throw tantrums. Why? Whether he says something or she does or not. And it's like, anyway, whether I do it or I don't do it, this is what is going to follow. And so the child begins to show, I'm not happy, without saying the words. That can be another way to react to that. And then, both ways. Why? He's just trying to protect himself. Just trying to protect himself and release tension that is on him, that he cannot define, cannot put words to, and unfortunately, they are not understanding him. Those adults are not understanding him. So you can see, of all these 4 reactions, the 4 of them have their own influence on this same child, because they're all adults who have reacted to the same thing, one after the other, but reacted differently. And this is already influencing the thoughts or which way the child would go. We can see, so put your child in this position, the position of Daniel, as we are going through, and see, what are you not doing right? How have you, not helped your child to get out of this caged, if you permit me to use that word, area where he finds or she finds herself? Something needs to be done to this. We'll move on to the next level. Let's talk about how it shapes Daniel's development. Daniel's brain is still developing, is still growing, is still forming connections. And when I say his brain is forming connections, I'm saying, Daniel's brain is learning how to think, how to feel, and respond by, forming connection from everyday experience that he has. That is what I mean by that. Now, the effect of this is, emotional development. He struggles to manage his emotions. That is one of the effects. He will struggle to manage his emotions. He may become, overly fearful, and just, you see him react, anyhow. Remember, he doesn't have words for all of these feelings he has inside of him. So socially, he will develop how he may begin to hit, throw tantrums, withdraw, and just decide to be on his own, kind of, when he should be, relating with friends, having fun, jumping around, smiling, and, doing things together. You just see him on his own, because he does not fully understand what is just going on. He's trying to process a lot of things, and while he does that, this growth continues. This connection of the connection thing is still ongoing in the brain. So, and then we now see this aspect. I want us to pay attention, because it has to do with him, Daniel. Self-identity. How does he see himself? What does he believe about himself with all these experiences? This is where he begins to form opinions about himself. He could say, I'm wrong. He could say, I'm not heard. Remember, we said it, and I'm saying it again. A child feels safe when that child feels seen, heard, and cared for. So he may just feel he's not heard. The person that shouted him down, of course, that goes, because he feels, I'm not to be heard. I'm not heard. She shut me up. I didn't finish what I was saying if I started at all. That could be, an effect. And on the whole, okay, whatever anybody feels, I need to defend myself. I need to do something about, because it's me. Nobody knows what I have inside of me or what I feel inside of me. So I need to defend myself. That can be another, effect. So children just don't, listen to what you say. They learn, and how they learn is they look at what is happening around them. They engage with what is happening around them, and that is what makes up who they are. Daniel's behavior is not a problem. Is not a problem. His experiences are messages. Every experience Daniel had is a message. That is the way you should see your child. That crying is not a problem. Go and dig deep to it and find out, why is that happening? Why is it consistently happening? That is it. Until you do that, you're not likely to even think about a solution, let alone preferring it. So it is a thing we must look at and pay attention to it, and be intentional about it. Please help these children. Help them. Once you do this, you will be at peace with yourself. You will see that a lot of things they will do without your help. All you need to do is calmly, you remember that word? Calmly guide them. Calmly guide them. This is a series of talk about the child and all of us. So if you are missing out anything, please go back and watch one after the other. They are all interconnected. And so I will keep making reference to them. So please, if you're joining us for the very first time, let me just pause here and say, please go back and watch the 2 videos we have done. This is the 3rd one, and we're still moving on. So in conclusion, because we've come to the end of today's session, when you stop reacting to behavior, you'll start responding to your child. When we adults stop reacting to these children's behavior, we would then be able to concentrate on the child, and that is what matters. Now, let me give you something to reflect on. So if the child experienced you the whole day like Daniel did, will that child feel safe, heard and understood? Or would he be confused, afraid, and unsure? So which of those answers would you wish that this child that experienced to throughout the day, would feel? Think about it. Now I want to ask you to please subscribe, like, share, call other friends to come learn with us. Let's work together to make these children what they are expected to be. Let the errors not come from us. Let's make them who they are meant to be. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video. Don't miss out.